reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of King Herod, behold, Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star at its rising, and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was greatly troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. Assembling all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They said to him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it has been written through the prophets. And you, Bethlehem, land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, since from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people, Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and ascertained from them the time of the star's appearance. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search diligently for the child. When you have found him, bring me word that I too may go and do him homage." After their audience with the king, they set out, and behold, the star that they had seen at its rising preceded them until it came and stopped over the place where the child was. They were overjoyed at seeing the star, and on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother. They prostrated themselves and did him homage. Then they opened their treasures and offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed for their country by another way. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
In the weeks leading up to Christmas, across the street from St. Benedict's and down one place, there was a house that had, I don't know, 500,000 lights maybe, and all these decorations in the yard. I am sure that New York State Electric and Gas sent them a thank you card. But last night when we were coming to church with Nancy and my grandson, we came around the corner and the lawn was clean and the house was dark. And Nancy said, "What happened to all of those decorations?" Well, unlike corporate America, which mistakenly believes that Christmas is over, Holy Mother Church designates Christmas not as a day, but as a season, which starts on December 25th. So it is entirely appropriate that the greeting of today should be, "Merry Christmas to all of you." Midnight, December 31st passed with no huge mishaps in the world, so I feel it's also right to wish you a very happy New Year as well. The Church designates today, the Church in the United States designates today as Epiphany. It's a huge Christian holiday traditionally celebrated on the 6th of January. It commemorates the coming of the Magi as the first manifestation of Christ to the Gentiles. Epiphany in the dictionary has other meanings that are kind of related. An epiphany can be a sudden manifestation or perception of the essential nature or meaning of something. It can be an illuminating discovery or realization or a disclosure of something you may not have understood before. Have you ever had an epiphany? A sudden perception or illumination of something that has remained hidden or maybe beyond your understanding. Maybe epiphanies are from God, opening that door suddenly. Behold, Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star at its rising." The gospel doesn't really tell us how many of these Magi arrived in Jerusalem, but tradition indicates that there were 3. These Magi, or people who came to Jerusalem, are variously translated as Magi, or sometimes magicians, sometimes wise men, or kings, or astrologers. The fact that they saw his star at its rising strongly points to the possibility of astrologers. Now, not the hokey kind that write your horoscope in the newspapers, but the kind of people who are well-versed in all kinds of prophecy, the kind of people who look for signs in the heavens. Someone who had read Isaiah's prophecy, who had read Isaiah's epiphany, that Jerusalem, Zion, will one day be the light for the world. The kind of people who discover a star that points the way to Jerusalem. And suddenly the words of the long-dead prophet of Israel are realized and illuminated. They themselves form a caravan, coming from afar, bringing gold and frankincense, and ready to testify to the light. An epiphany, if you will. The darkness and thick clouds of Roman occupation and the weak and ineffectual rule of King Herod that has covered God's people has suddenly been pierced by a light. And the Magi are drawn to it, quickly perceiving what remained hidden to Herod and so many others. The Apostle Paul has a series of sudden revelations or enlightenments in his life. The first, if you remember, was quite spectacular. It is recounted in Acts of the Apostles, where the devout Jew Saul, who is from Tarsus, is actually on his way to Damascus with letters of authority from the temple officials. He was to arrest any followers of that recently crucified blasphemer that we know as Jesus, and bring them in chains to Jerusalem for trial. On his way, he is knocked off his horse and struck blind, and hears the voice of Jesus. And he has only healed when a disciple of that blasphemer Jesus lays hands on him. And he has this epiphany that maybe the temple officials have been mistaken about this Jesus. And in our readings today from Paul's letter to the Ephesians, we get a look at another of his enlightenments. Jesus tells them of a mystery that was made known to him by revelation. The scriptures that Paul has read and studied his entire life indicate that it's the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel who are God's chosen people. The Hebrew people have righteousness through the law. Gentiles don't have the law or follow the law of Moses. And the Jews don't even bother to address them. Paul's epiphany through Revelation is this: Gentiles are co-heirs, members of the same body, and co-partners in the promise of Christ Jesus through the gospel. We get not just the scraps that fall from the master's table, but Paul discovers that we actually have a place at the table. We are chosen too. Epiphany. A revelation to those who seek, they find. Revelation to those who look, they behold. Revelation or epiphany to those who listen, they hear. The epiphany of our Christmas season is that through a tiny star, a young mother, and a small and vulnerable baby, God has brought light into the world for all people. Salvation and glory of the Lord shines on you. May God bless us, everyone, in a very Merry Christmas.